America is the biggest gang in the world. You know what I mean? Look at how they didn't agree with Cuba, so what was to cut them off? That's what we do in the street. We block things off.
Last night, I ordered U.S. military forces to Panama. Just 2 hours ago, Allied air forces began an attack on military targets in Iraq and Kuwait.
Today, our armed forces joined our NATO allies in airstrikes against Serbian forces. I ordered our armed forces to strike at terrorist-related facilities in Afghanistan and Sudan.
At this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein.
58,000 soldiers have been stop-lossed in the past 6 years. Their service involuntarily extended from a few months to more than a year. And the Army has used stop-loss as a backdoor draft to make up for the shortage of soldiers for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
The number of suicides by Army soldiers in 2007 reached record levels since nearly 20 years ago.
You know, I think this country still is run on gangs. Republicans, Democrats, the police department, the FBI, the CIA, those are gangs. You know what I mean? The correctional officers. I had a correctional officer tell me straight up, we the biggest gang in New York State.
No, I've never said that troops should be withdrawn.
I want to go to Iran.
All options are on the table.
My good friend, Senator Obama, that's a very provocative statement. You previously said that all options are on the table with respect to Iran. And I think that it's important for people to reflect on the real meaning of that you're setting the stage for another war.
Who the hell are we going to nuke?
Senator,
tell me, Barack, who are you want to nuke?
I'm not planning to nuke anybody right now.
Would you as president be willing to have a military surge in Afghanistan in order to once and for all eliminate the Taliban?
Yes, I think that's what we need. I think we need more troops there. I think we need to do a better job of reconstruction there. I think we have to be focused on Afghanistan.
Iran is an adversary. Their pursuit of nuclear weapons poses a grave threat to us.
Obviously, we've got national security interests in oil supplies in the region. And as president, that's something that I would factor in.
Iran is a serious threat.
Have no doubt, Iran possessing nuclear weapons will be a major threat to us and to the region. I understand that, but they're in the process of developing it. And I don't think that's disputed by any expert. They are the largest state sponsor of terrorism.
It is disputed
Hezbollah
by
and Hamas.
It is disputed.
And there is no contradiction, Dennis,
it is
between...
Let
me finish. If we have nuclear proliferators around the world that potentially can place a nuclear weapon into the hands of terrorists...
Secretly and without fingerprints, he could provide one of his hidden weapons to terrorists.
The enemies that we're going to have to fight is not just terrorists, it's not just Hezbollah, it's not just Hamas.
We all know that Iran poses a threat. Iran is a grave threat.
American people would want to send American men and women to Saudi Arabia to defend them against Iran?
Well, that's, I think, part of the debate that should be taking place. Israel is our ally, and we will protect Israel. More importantly, though, we should be keeping our nuclear arsenal out of the hands of Iran, which is why I've called consistently for sanctions. The Zionist movement was something that I related to and connected to.
Barack Obama and Dick Cheney are distant cousins, but you ain't heard nothing yet.
All Dick Cheney jokes aside, Obama may just have something presidential in him. It's not just his fire in the belly. According to the New England Historic Genealogical Society, Obama is related to not one, not two, but at least 6 U.S. presidents. Both Presidents Bush, Gerald Ford, LBJ, Harry Truman, and James Madison.
Obama's family tree also includes Sir Winston Churchill and Civil War General Robert E. Lee.
President Lincoln was President Bush's 7th cousin 5 times removed. And Bush shared more than just a ballot with John Kerry. That's right, they're 9th cousins twice removed. There's also royalty in the Bush bloodline. Princess Diana was Bush's 11th cousin twice removed. And Vlad the Impaler.
The special interests are still very much in charge in Washington.
Senator McCain, now facing Senator Obama, is being tied to the sort of the ultimate insiders of the lobbyist crowd. In this case, having the hired hand of the UBS bank crafting his mortgage policy.
John McCain's ancestry was more difficult to trace, but it's known he's the 6th cousin of First Lady Laura Bush.
Well, Mitt Romney and Mike Huckabee are 10th cousins once removed. 33 U.S. presidents are descendants of Emperor Charlemagne.
The Council on Foreign Relations, I've spoken there before. It basically is just a forum where a bunch of people talk about foreign policy.
These men aim to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world. CFR is their most visible conduit for carrying out that agenda. News reporters who are CFR members do not merely analyze and interpret foreign policy for the United States, they help make it.
Every major metropolitan newspaper in this country supported this war. That's what you get with a corporate media. It was not good for business to oppose this war.
When I was a kid, ABC had 47 foreign news bureaus in Europe. Now it has none. It buys its news in a can from, the European producers. And that's why, Americans, the only way that you can get foreign news in this country is if you go to BBC. And, that's why Americans, we're supposed to be the leader of the free world, of the entire world. And yet, we have no idea what's happening in other cultures or other countries. And that's why we, the American people, were able to be gulled into this neocon fantasy that we were going to be met by flowers and rose petals in the streets when we went into Iraq.
The people who say there will be a bloodbath are the ones who said it would be a cakewalk, it would be a slam dunk, and that it would be paid for by oil. Why believe them? They've been wrong on everything they've said. So why not ask the people? Why not ask the people who advise not to go into the region and into the war? The war has not gone well one bit. Yes, I would leave completely.
Let's start peeping the game. The game is the game of life. You got to start peeping how they're doing it. And if you see it, you can see the little signs that says that the guns are turning away from, Europe and Russia and Iran and Iraq, and they're turning to us.
More than 23,000 representatives of private industry are working quietly in collaboration with the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. The business leaders form a group known as InfraGard that receives warnings of terrorist threats directly from the FBI before the public does. In return, they provide information to the government. According to one whistleblower, the FBI has given members of InfraGard permission to shoot to kill in the event of martial law. A federal appeals court has ruled President Bush can order the indefinite jailing of civilians imprisoned in the United States. The 5-4 decision effectively reverses last year's ruling that the administration cannot label U.S. residents enemy combatants and jail them indefinitely without charge.
Plan would attack Iran from the air, declare a national emergency, institute martial law, and call off the 2008 elections, where the Democrats initiate impeachment.
There is evidence the government has been intercepting most emails as part of its terrorist surveillance program. That program has been criticized as illegal because it's missing an important ingredient: search warrants.
Sheriff's deputies, drug agents, the FBI, and even the Coast Guard all working together. Weeks of planning came down to action this weekend when Operation Sudden Impact hit the streets and the waterways. Law enforcement officials were looking for drugs, gangs, and fugitives, but that's not all.
For the first time, they're changing how they go about searching for those who are searching for trouble. Police, deputies, FBI, drug agents, and even gang units, all working together.
A woman tasered again and again and again. It is hard to watch, and some would say difficult to justify.
An elite Marine combat unit will invade Indianapolis for 2 weeks of intensive urban warfare training.
Hello? I've never been here before.
To my fellow citizens to be, we believe in free speech in the United States of America. I'm honored that the governor of the great Commonwealth of Virginia would join us, and Ann Horton. Appreciate you being here. Lieutenant Governor Bill Bolling, the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Virginia. Attorney General Bob McDonnell of the state of Virginia is with us. And all... Seems like I brought a lot of
He's like, I brought all extra.